And welcome everyone to the Beautiful Butterfly Show. I'm your host, B.Fly. I want to say happy Tuesday to you guys out there tuning in this evening. Hope that you had a great weekend. I know a lot of people were celebrating Juneteenth, including myself, which was an amazing day. Not just a day to barbecue, have fun, but a day to really absorb what the meaning and the history behind Juneteenth is. And so I hope you guys were able to take part in that and all of those great things. And so for the folks out here tonight, we got a special guest, you guys. We got Jour'dan Haynes in the building, also known as JoJo, you guys. She is a lifestyle content creator, altruism advocate. I mean, she just does everything, you guys. If you guys follow her on social media, you guys know that she is just all around. And I told her, I bragged on her to her mom. I was like, your daughter is just amazing. Like, I wish I had all of the things that she has put together when I was her age. But she is doing phenomenal things out here and just creating her own path. And as you guys know, we always love people who are creating their own paths and doing their own thing out here in the world, you guys. So I'm not going to delay any longer. I'm going to bring our guest on here so you guys can get to know her and all of those great things and more. JoJo, you there?
Yes, I am. Hi. Hi, everyone.
Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing phenomenal. I am excited about having you here on the show tonight.
I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. So, for the folks out here, this may be their first time seeing you, hearing your voice. Tell us a little bit about who is JoJo.
So, you did a great introduction of who I am, but I am a blogger and I am 20 as of the moment. My birthday is August 25th, everyone. I
Nice.
advocate. If you don't know what altruism is, it's just the willingness to want to make people better and just help them overall. And then your affluence is very important when you're being an altruism advocate because it's all about the greater good. So you put your money towards things that will scale higher for everyone.
Right.
Um, so minimalist content is what I focus on. And then from time to time, I do post on my Instagram story about alternative living because I would like to live in a tiny home in the future. So I like to touch on that.
Yeah, awesome. That is awesome. And so, what started this process for you? Because I know, as long as I've been following you, you have always definitely just created your own path and just doing something different, which I think catches people's attention and so forth. And so, with your mindset and the way that you think about things. And so, where did all of that develop? What was the home front like for JoJo? I know you have awesome parents and all of those great things. So, what was that like, and how did that develop you into the woman that you are now?
That's a great question. My parents definitely contributed to who I am, so I have to give them
Yeah,
props. I have to. But also I think it was people around me always looking to me to like for advice and stuff like that. I've always been the
yeah.
person for that and that definitely helped build my confidence because it's like, oh, like little old me, you think I can help you? Oh wow. What made me discover. And then when I was younger, I had One Kid at a Time, which was a nonprofit organization that was dedicated to helping kids in homeless shelters. So that was
Yeah.
I just realized that I was the type of person that definitely loved helping people of all ages now. Like then I was focused on
Yeah.
kids, but I just love helping people across the board.
Absolutely. And has that something that you've always been interested in, as far as helping people? Is that something that has always, touched your heart and made you want to get involved even more?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It definitely
Yeah.
has. And if it's not through donating, it's through helping out into the community and then also doing like a few lives. Altruist, I follow them on Instagram. I hosted a live with them like about a month ago and we talked about
Yeah.
how and donate and just contribute to your community.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And for you, I know you talked about you have talked about before about the involvement that we should have within our communities and so forth. And so, why do you believe that is important now? Because a lot of times, depending on where we live and so forth, people, it seems like sometimes people forget about their community. They go off and they go to other places, but sometimes people forget about that area surrounding them. So why is it important to you, to get out here, within the community?
I put it straight to you, never forget where you came from. So
Yeah,
just because you get up and into a different neighborhood doesn't mean you forget that you left some people behind that don't have the financial stability to move up to the level that you are, and there's nothing wrong
right,
with that, or maybe with where they're at. And I have to give that to people that less is more sometimes. So you don't need the extra like space and the cars and the essentials and all these luxuries if you don't want to. So that's
right.
something that I think about. I'm like, okay, you need to take a step back and remember where you came from and help there. And it doesn't matter how big the change is. You can contribute in a
Yeah,
small way, a medium way, big way. It doesn't matter. All change is change. So that's why it's
yeah.
important to give back to the community, because you literally just can't forget, and you have to remember that there are some people that don't have it as better off as you do. Remember.
Hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. And when it comes to the youth, and getting them involved in the community, a lot of times people talk about the difficulty of getting youth involved in the community and so forth. And what are some ways that you think that people can get the youth involved in the community where they don't feel left out?
Today is definitely social media. That's the best way to reach
Yeah,
people. I get on Ramsey about being on TikTok all the time because I am not in love with TikTok, but TikTok has some really cool, dope creators on there that are
yeah,
young, things that matter. So that is like a key
yeah,
way to get the message out. And then also,
yeah,
word always been great when you're having conversations with your kids or just among your peers, a friend of friend. You have to think deeper than the surface about things. Like, yeah, we can talk about last YouTube video that we just viewed, or what so and so was wearing down the street, but we need to pull
right.
back that cloth and talk really matter. That helps get the word out as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for you, when was that moment that you decided, I want to be a content creator? When did you decide, you know what, I want to get out here, I want to create some great content for people? When was that moment for you?
I started taking creating content seriously my 12th grade year. Before that, I was like posting through Snapchat. So I would count that as like the trial run, but I started
Right.
taking it seriously.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Yeah, and why was it at that age? What piqued your curiosity about doing that?
I think the few people that I did follow through YouTube and Instagram around that time, they were changing the game with the word influencer. And I was like, wait a
Yeah.
minute, maybe room for me here. And I was like, I'm a creator and we're talking about things that matter. Let me
Yeah.
step in. And so that was the point. I was around me. I'm like, okay, they're now we're now talking about inspiring people, and that's
Mhm.
something that I'm big on. So I'm like, okay, there's room for me on this platform to start working
Yeah.
towards that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it becomes, because I know you talked about also being 20, and so I'm a little bit older than you. I'm not gonna tell my age, but a little bit. But anyway, so for a 20-year-old, what is the influence of social media? What has social media provided in your life, or what are the pros and cons in your opinion of social media and the effects that it has?
Oh, we getting real. A major on social media is, I will be fully transparent with you, is comparing yourself to other
Yeah,
people. I've done it. I'm being honest with myself about it. I've
yeah,
done it. So that's one thing. It's like feeling that constant competition. So
yeah,
then you have to that into a positive and realize like, okay, it's not competition. There's room for everybody. You have your lane, I have my
Right.
lane, and I'm get to it. I'm going to be successful when I become successful, when the Lord decides to place me there, or the universe, whatever you may believe in.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a negative. That's a con. I say another thing is the obsession with following and likes.
Mm,
Sometimes you become,
absolutely.
and you're like, at least for me, since this is a business that I run, the follows and likes do matter, but it's like you don't want to focus so much time on that. So it's hard making that balance of like, should I repost this because it didn't see a lot of people, or it didn't reach a lot of people, or should I keep it up because it still touched the demographic that I wanted it to? So that's a con
Yeah.
too. And the
Yeah.
beautiful about social media is the fact that you can connect with several people, many,
Right.
many of networking with brands and thinking about partnerships and then scaling a business and et cetera, et cetera. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And I wanted to touch on a little bit about what you were saying about the comparison. And I think that's something that, no matter your age, when it comes to social media, most of us who are involved in social media have had that moments where we look up people, we see their picture, and we're like, oh man, I wish I had this quality or that quality, kind of comparing yourself to that. Do you think that social media has had an even greater influence on women's self esteem and how we view ourselves and how we even carry ourselves out here in the world?
oh, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely. Because if it's not, I mean, they're making room for a black woman, but at first, like Instagram was not on the ball with showing color throughout their
right.
platform.
Yeah,
So that is something for me being a young black girl was like,
hmm,
where is my face? Where are other
right.
people?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I noticed as well about social media, because for me, when I first got on Instagram, most of influencers and bloggers I knew were white. They didn't look like me, and so even though I followed some of them, but we weren't really, like you said, highly represented when it came to this. And so, why do you think now more people that do look like us are getting into blogging, creating, and all of those different aspects?
I think more and more as time goes, people are realizing that black people have a certain uniqueness. Like we just when we step into a room, you do see us and you notice us. So
Yeah,
and I Instagram, I'd say it's like catering more to that. It's because then they're realizing that because of course that's a business. So if they see that people are catering more towards black people, they're going to, or just people of color in general, they're going to push that more on their platform for the
right.
algorithm working. But
Yeah.
as far as other people caring about our content and focusing on us sharing our stories, it's
Mhm.
because somebody is like, oh, like they are dope, we are cool, and it should be noticed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the thing about it, which is interesting, is the fact that, and I don't know if you think about this yourself, is you sometimes you sit back and wonder why it has taken people so long to catch on the fact that people of color have much to say and much content to provide as any other culture.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so, for you, when it comes to the different segments you created, and speaking of segments, you've actually created a segment as well with your dad, which I thought was really cool, which was the Ask My Dad series that you guys have. And so, tell us how that came about, because I know most girls are like, I'm not doing a show with dad. It's no telling what he's gonna say. So how did you two collaborate on doing this?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I reached out to him about 2 years ago, or I pitched it to him about 2 years ago, and was like, yeah, we need to get together because honestly, there's a negative connotation towards black fathers and them not being involved. And my dad
Right.
is that pillar of somebody that is involved. He's involved in every way, emotionally, physically, mentally. He's there. So that was something that I wanted to give to other people, because I know some of my friends, they don't have a father figure in life, but they run to my dad for advice. So I was like, why not give him a platform to be able to educate and help young girls as much as he helps me? Like, the
Yeah.
advice is always open to go around. I don't need to keep it for myself.
Right.
I'm
Right.
forever.
Absolutely. And one of the things, and speaking of that, about, Black fathers specifically, not being, represented, when it comes to how they feel about certain topics, and therefore, and so, what are your thoughts on that? Why do you believe, that a lot of Black fathers, even still today, are not represented, in the most positive, manner?
Hmm, that's an interesting question. I think it's hard to break a bad habit. So when you get into the habits of knowing that somebody is not the best, or you've been in situations where somebody wasn't there for you, it starts to
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it's like a virus. It just spreads. And then it's like, if there's one bad egg, then everybody's a bad egg, right?
Right. Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
definitely, that's why that's a part of it.
Absolutely. And so, were you kind of nervous about, talking about various things? Because you and your dad pretty much talk about, everything under the sun, on your segment. So, were there moments where you like, okay, so how did you feel about, discussing some of the topics? And you can even share with the people out here, some of the topics that you and your dad even touched on.
Okay, I think the most uncomfortable topic that we had, but I was still like comfortable with him in that room. But afterwards, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Was when we had a topic about sex. I was
Yeah.
just saying, I can't believe I'm talking to my dad about this, because it's not something you do. Like, honestly, I can speak for the young girls. You don't think to talk to your parents about
Right.
that topic. Like, you have the
Yeah.
birds and the talk. That's it. We're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
The most uncomfortable. But other than that, we just talk about like politics and culture and stuff like that. I mean, drugs was another, a little bit of a uncomfortable conversation, but other than that, it's just pretty open. And then of course, after that conversation, it was easy, because it's like, if we talk about this, we can talk about anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's what I was going to ask you. Did you feel like, and I'm sure even before the show that you felt like you could have those conversations, with him about those, and explain the importance of that, of a young Black young woman, being able to have, those conversations with her father, about various things.
It's very important, because I mean, I'm not a parent, but if I was a parent, the one thing I would want is that my child comes to me first for advice, because
Right.
I've been earth longer. So these little kids, these little chicken heads that you run, I'm going in the right direction. So that's why it's very important. You do
Yeah.
not you don't want your daughter or your son seeking advice from kids that are growing just like them.
Yeah.
They don't, they're going to face in the real world. They haven't even been hit with the real world yet.
Yeah.
So that's what we don't want.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, I know that, you guys have did a couple segments, and so are you guys planning to, kick that off, and get it rolling, back again? Yeah.
Yes, we to relaunch. My thought process behind it, and I've been going over it with my dad, is to start a podcast and then have it
Yeah.
live on somewhere for people to have access to it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because the one of the great things that I loved about it, is because it's just something that you don't see often. The daughter, the dad talking, the dad giving his insight, and just it being an open, but very real and raw, conversation about the things, that transpired through life and so forth. And so for you, I also know with your own segments, you talk about dealing with adulthood,
Yeah.
And so how has adulthood thus far been for you? What has that experience been like, transitioning, high school and college and all that into where you are now? What has that transition into adulthood been like for you?
Adulting is not fun. It's fun. It was very stepping into it, trying to find a balance between work life and school and being with my parents, which I've talked to my dad about several times. I always go through that quote unquote like breakdown, and I'm just like, okay, let me figure out how to manage all my time. So none of it
Yeah,
is easy. That's what I try to explain to people on my platform, that like you just have to take it step by step, and
right.
then to write out a plan for yourself. So like here on my wall in my room, I literally have a step-by-step plan from A to E for right
I
now, for
love
the
that.
next, that I can look at, and I'm like, okay, I need to get this done by the end of the year, this done by the end of the year. And then when it's time, as I accomplish goals, just rip off each sticky note. So I feel like that's
Hmm.
definitely, personally, I'm a visual learner. So it's easy for me to, it's better for me to visualize what I need to get done instead of like
Right.
trying to down in a notebook and then forgetting about it or whatever the case may be. So
Yeah.
it has been hard.
Absolutely.
It's definitely getting easier because I'm staying consistent and keeping myself on a schedule and just
Yeah.
get balance, understanding that like family is important. I prioritize work because we need money. As if you didn't know, as an adult, you guys, I thought I could live forever. That was a lie. So I prioritize that also for my family members. If they're like, hey, we're going on vacation, it's like you want to be able to live and be financially stable at the same time, and that's something that my parents have instilled in me, and that's
Hmm.
something I would like to give to other people
Yeah.
via my platform.
Absolutely. Because, going into adulthood can really, like, be a slap in the face. Honestly, sometimes it really can, because, like you said, you're used to things being provided for you, things being done. And then one morning you wake up and it's like, oh, I have to do this myself. Oh, okay. Let me, like me. Okay. I got to pay this bill. Okay.
Like, it's the little things. It's just the laundry. I gotta do the
Yeah.
laundry by myself. Fold clothes. Why?
Absolutely, absolutely. So adulthood definitely has its growing pains and so forth. And so, of course, I've had a lot of people with questions tonight about creating content. And how do you know what content to put out here? Because it kind of goes back to what you were saying, is that we look at other people and what they're putting out here. And so sometimes we feel like, well, maybe I should be putting this stuff out too because it's popular or trendy at that certain particular time. How do we know what content we should be putting out here?
Okay, you do have to. I feel like when you're first starting out, you have to know your audience. So you just play around with things. What line up the
Yeah,
stuff you're comfortable putting out on the internet, and then seeing how people react to it. And then that will help you navigate
right.
what's working, what's not working. I'd say start there when it comes to
Yeah,
the what content you're deciding to put out. And then even like in what style, like what
yeah,
use, what not to
yeah,
use. Do they like reels? Do you like your story more? Do you like the timeline more? Which one is it? Just trying
yeah.
that.
Absolutely. Our second question comes from Ashley. She wants to know where is the best place to put content out at. She says a lot of people nowadays, of course, TikTok is very popular. Where are some suggested places that that are great places to put out good content?
Hmm. Hey girl, hey. Content. I think for me, I feel like Instagram as of late has the highest engagement. Like I don't know, I've just
Right.
Instagram is a lot more friendly in terms of like getting
Yeah.
people to comment and interact with you. So I'd say
Yeah.
it is the winner. Coming in second
Yeah.
would probably be Twitter, depending on like who you follow on Twitter, because Twitter also has some nonsense. So we want to stay away from the
Yeah.
nonsense. But yeah, right now is the best place to put your content.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This one comes from, excuse me, Erica, from Instagram. She wants to know, how do you deal with the negativity that comes with being on social media? She says, sometimes I see where people can post the most outrageous and rude comments. How do you deal with that?
Oh, mm, it takes a lot of strength from my mouth shuts, a lot of strength because
Yeah.
I've seen like the utmost disrespectful comments to ever be on the Instagram platform. I feel like, and it was I just a little story time. It was in regards to a young woman that had just experienced rape, and somebody had commented, "Was
Wow.
I can see why you got raped." I
Wow.
wanted post that all over the internet and of course bash him and report him and do the most. But I think talking to my family members really calmed me down, and they were like,
Mhm.
you can't change everybody and you can't save everybody, so you have to
Right.
the Lord. So you have to leave it up to the Lord and the universe that karma will come for them. Sometimes you don't
Very
need to
true.
give them energy. You need to protect your peace. My mom just got
Yeah.
to show you, protect your peace. You need to protect your peace and not mind your business, but know that something will happen to that individual, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
something wrong, it comes back and it bites you. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Because I think that sometimes, um, people, of course, you have, your, what I call them, your keyboard gangsters, that type and they say stuff because they're waiting for that reaction that you're going to get. And even with this show as well, years ago when people would call in, man, I could tell you I had some of the most like wild and bizarre, opinions and thoughts from people. But it makes you think and dig deeper with people of what's really going on with you. You know
right,
what I mean? Like, what's the real issue here? Like, I don't think the issue is what we're discussing. I think there's something more going on with you personally, that has made you, say the things. And so I think oftentimes, like you said, we do have to protect our peace at all times, not only from people that we see face to face, but, from people on social media,
exactly.
because it can be draining, very draining to sit around and entertain people and their shenanigans. So I definitely believe that is a great method on protecting your peace.
One
And
too.
so, for you, also, this one comes from a Destiny, also from Instagram. She wants to know, what has been the most uncomfortable topic that you yourself have talked about. I know you mentioned the sex talk was uncomfortable talking about with your dad, but thus far, what has there been any conversation or topic for you personally on your own content that it was kind of uncomfortable for you to talk about?
Hmm. I don't think there's ever been anything that was uncomfortable for me to talk about.
Yeah,
I'm thinking. I don't think there's ever
yeah,
been anything uncomfortable. No.
which is a good thing, which is a great thing.
Yeah, and
Absolutely,
very open. And no.
yeah.
That
Absolutely. What have been some topics that you were really passionate about, that you felt like, what, I really need to share my insight as well as get other people's insight on this conversation?
the first thing would definitely be alternative education styles. That's something I'm very
Okay.
passionate about because I believe everybody has their own path. So whether you want to go to a trade school, whether you decide not to go to college, whether you decide to go to a 4 year, whether you decide to go to a 2 year, that's something that I definitely love discussing with people. So
Yeah.
that to the community, I always like ask people, what's your plans? What's your plans? And I'm always
Yeah.
going to support you. I feel like sometimes people like steer away from those that want to be creatives, and they're like, okay, well, you need to have a backup plan though. You should go to school.
Right.
And everybody should always have a backup plan, but that doesn't mean, I feel like it takes away from you supporting them if you're telling them focus on your backup plan more. Like you're pushing for the
Hmm.
school, then pushing more, making a schedule and telling them to create content. So
Absolutely.
even with trade school too, if you're like, no, you should go to a 4 year because that degree is better. Like everybody just has their opinion sometimes, and it's like, why can't we just make space and room for everybody? Why can't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think what is so important with what you said also is having that conversation because with even your parents, because a lot of times, it starts there where, oh, I want you to go off to college, or, even some people have been told from, toddlers that, okay, you're going to be a doctor. You're going to be a doctor like your granddad. You're going to be a lawyer, and so a lot of times I think that it's easy for people to push their aspirations out on you
Mhm.
because, of course, they want the best for you. But I think there comes a point where you have to have a conversation and truly tap into what does that person really want to do, because there's nothing worse than sending somebody to school or making them go into a job that they don't like,
Exactly.
and you know, yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they're wasting a lot of money that way.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It becomes a waste because they're not interested. There's kind of like this resentment thing because I'm here, against my own will, kind of like, so yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so this question comes from Jonathan. He says, when it comes to branding, what has been the best way to brand in your personal experience?
Go with your intentions.
Right.
Intentions are important with branding yourself. So when you first start out,
Absolutely.
another thing that you do is you're eager to jump for every opportunity. And if brands notice that, or partnerships, anybody you want to collab with, if they see that like you're doing things that doesn't seem, it's so much going on. Like one day you're doing fashion, the next day you're doing minimalist content, the next day you're being a motivational speaker. You don't have it together. So it has to be
Right.
cohesive as possible. So that's what the intentions come in, that like, okay, I know that I want to create fitness content. So the mass majority of my posts are going to revolve around fitness, and that's all.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of times I know for you, you have definitely kind of mixed up your branding pot, in different areas and connecting with different people. And so, why has it been important for you to brand yourself out with, just different companies outside of the norm of what people would tend to brand themselves with?
I want to do multiple things. I don't want to put myself just in one category, but I also want it all
Right.
to. So everything that I do falls under lifestyle. This is my life that you guys are
Yeah.
watching. You're seeing me do multiple things in it. So
Right.
just didn't have one thing that I thought was like the most significant. I feel like all of these things were significant. So that's why I choose different branding. And then also, just as far as like how my page looks with the different brands that I'm working with, or whatever the case may be, because some people have like an aesthetic that they go by. I just feel like
Right.
aesthetic things, IGs do not make you authentic. Like just because my page is aesthetically pleasing, this you don't know by looking at my page. We have to be
Right.
real. You have to be real and just show up as you are. So that's what I try to,
Absolutely.
literally in my bio. Like if you came to like my pictures and see that's all brown or all white, you found the wrong page. Click out, unfollow. You found the wrong one.
I love it. I absolutely love it, love it, love it. And so, with this, and I know that and you've brand with tea companies, taking over social media, all different aspects in that realm. And so, I think it gives people a great idea of how to market yourself because, like you said, it doesn't keep you in the same
Right.
box. If you only show that you wear, white t-shirts every day, other people are gonna be like, okay, well, she only wears that, so she's not the best for our brand and so forth. And so, for a lot of adults out here wanting to get into lifestyle content, blogging, and all of that, um, does it recommend that you have a hard shell? Because not everybody's going to want to work with you. You may have some people that you reach out to, and they're like, no, you just don't fit with what we're trying to do. Does this lifestyle require, a hard shell when it comes to the business aspect of it?
Oh yes, you're going to get several no's before you get a yes.
Yeah,
Several
yeah,
no's before you get a yes. And it's just because it depends on what the brand is looking for. Maybe they don't think you're ready yet. Maybe you don't have enough content on your page yet. Whatever the case
yeah,
may be. But again, like I said, when you're moving with intention, if it didn't work out with them, then it'll work out with the next person. Like
yeah,
you weren't meant for them. You guys weren't
yeah,
supposed to work together. Don't take it to heart because it wasn't supposed to happen. If it was supposed to align with you, it would have happened. So that's
yeah.
something that you have to factor in. And then also like when you hit the glow up, when you blow up and you go viral, what have you, then everybody always wants to hit you up and
Of
be like, oh,
course.
remember when you hit me up and we want to work? No, the door shuts. It's closed. That's when you turn around. No, I'm sorry, I can't. That's
I absolutely love it, which is so true because we have watched so many people, on social media, who were just, kind of doing their own thing, and it only took one video, one snapshot, one screenshot, whatever it was, to blow them up overnight, and they're instantly a celebrity, And so now you have everybody, reaching out to them, people who would have never gave them time of the day, reaching out to them like, hey, I want you to model for me, or I want you to come on my show, or I'm gonna fly you here. So it is very true behind that, I definitely agree with that. And so and also, I know that on your page as well, the content and the layout and the structure of your page. And so sometimes we go to certain creators' page and we get lost. We get lost in the content that's on there. Explain the importance of keeping your content popping but consistent, where people don't get lost in what you're representing.
okay. So one having a schedule would definitely help with that. Things not getting
Right,
lost because you can like when you're scheduling a post, you can like look at your feed and see what works and what's not going to work on there.
right,
That's And then the second way is again, you have to focus and hone in on the said things that you're looking to place on your page and don't go out of
right,
that bubble.
right,
Remind yourself. And then just finding what schedule works for you to keep up with the content, keep up with the consistency. So once you get that down, it's good. And then of course, like finding the sort of coloring apps that you like most on your photos and stuff like that that work with your page. So figure out
right,
what vibe you're going for. That's the best way to put it.
right.
Figure out going for it and keep it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I wanted to ask you because you definitely put out very positive content, uplifting content. And so for you, those moments where JoJo's kind of just not feeling it, what does JoJo do to uplift herself and encourage herself? What is that vibe like for you to, kind of recharge and self motivate yourself?
I talk to myself a lot. And you guys might find that crazy, anybody that's watching it. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I came to terms with that maybe I am a little bit. It's okay. But yeah. I talk to myself a lot, and I find that to be extremely helpful because it's just a great release. It's like everything is out of your brain. You've said everything, and now it's like a sense of clarity. And then you go to sleep and you wake up and it's a new day, a new 24 hours to start over. And then another great way that I've realized is because, like I said, I do work a full-time job. It's not bringing work home. That can also help with like your whole mental state.
Right.
I
Right.
started doing stuff like I don't talk to my boyfriend. He asked me how my day went. I'm like, it was good or it was bad. We're not talking about it. I don't want to give them. That's we're done.
Which is a great idea, you know, because you think about it, especially if you've already had a hectic day, and then to come home having to rediscuss the hectic day, kind of re-triggers you all over again and puts you in a bad mood all over again, you know.
No
Yeah.
negative energy to cross. No.
Yeah. Absolutely. 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 And so who are some of JoJo's inspirations? Who are some people that have really inspired you thus far in your adulthood?
Oh, I was thinking more so towards content creating. So which one would you rather me answer?
We can do both. So let's
Okay.
let's do personal first and then we'll do content.
Okay. So
Yeah.
personal, again, I do have to give it up to my parents. I do have to give it up to my parents. I have to, because and that might seem like a cliche thing to say, but they really do support me. They are literally the people that I look to for everything.
Yeah.
So I have to say that it's not even it's in my blood. Like it just
Right.
is what it, they are the
Yeah.
people that focus on the most. And I would definitely say my friend Chelsea inspires me a lot. That's my best
Yeah.
friend, and I love her to death. And I don't know where I would be without her sometimes. So
Yeah.
that's I have to give it up to. I love you, Chelsea.
Yeah.
But
Awesome. And
content
so
wise,
content wise, yeah.
it would be Sophia Rowe. I love Sophia Rowe. If you guys don't know
Yeah.
who she is, the welfare advocate and personal chef, and then also like influencer isn't her title, but she's definitely falling to that realm because of the type of content sometimes.
Right.
But she's always involved in the community all the time. And then Sunflower Valentine is another lady that I love. She has meetups, like eco-friendly meetups with people
Yeah.
to like trees and plants, and then like cleaning parks and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
love her. I
Yeah.
absolutely love her. They both
Absolutely.
because they're creating change. So I follow a lot of people on my feed that create change, and those are the two that like spark me the most. That I had the post notifications on that saved everything.
Yeah. And I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome. Like I said earlier in the show, JoJo really does have dope parents. I've known her mom for quite some time, for years, actually. And so one of the things that I like about your parents, not saying that all parents aren't like this, but your parents specifically, that support. You know, not all kids always feel supported by their parents in the route that they choose and going through life. Not saying that they sit around, you know, and don't disagree with some things you may do in life, but you know, just having that support and people that you can fall back on is truly important. I believe, especially this day and age, you know, two young adults out here in the world. And so I always love to emphasize on that aspect of having great and supportive people behind you every step of the way. Because as we know, and as you said, you know, adulthood can be challenging, and it has, you know, so it comes with a lot of things in the process. And so, and I've asked several people this who I've interviewed, and so the pandemic. So when the pandemic occurred, a lot of people had to make a lot of changes and even reevaluate their life, what they wanted to do, all of those great things. How did the pandemic affect JoJo? What ways do you feel you grew? Did you recognize things about yourself that you might not have not recognized before?
So, thankfully, I believe that it was more positives than negatives when it
Yeah.
came to make. And the reason why I say so is because I saved up a lot of money from the
Awesome.
pandemic, and
Yeah.
I had time to focus on content at the beginning of it because I wasn't going to work. They sent us home. So,
Right.
like, for half, I was staying home and I had time to think of like different content ideas. And
Yeah.
then also, like, just focusing on my health. I spent a lot of time working out during the pandemic as well. So, it was
Yeah.
more positives. I think the only time it became negative for me is the fact that I was realizing I literally couldn't go anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
the beginning and the middle of it, we were shut. Like, you had to be in the house. But
Right. Right.
the only time, this is a lot. This is a lot, and
Yeah.
I'm over it. I want to be outside.
Absolutely. And I'm glad it had such a positive impact because for a lot of people, it was very challenging times to get through. But I think being able for people like yourself who were able to provide us with great content during those times helped people during that process of dealing with, all of the chaos that was going on at that particular time.
That is very true. That was very true
Yeah.
because people were access to a lot of information or just spending time, if not reading, if not watching content, then like
Right.
for different classes because you had the
Yeah.
time. So it was like, why not?
Yeah. Absolutely. 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 And so what does the future hold for JoJo? What are some of your goals that you have planned? That could be for the end of this year. Where do you want to see all of this go and manifest to?
Content wise, my goal is to have 10K at the end of the year. That is really something I would like to accomplish. To
Nice.
more brand deals under my belt because this month, um, again with the universe just aligning with me, I had the opportunity to have gigs for the whole month. And like I was going over with my mom because she manages me, and I was like, oh wow, I'm booked the whole month. Like I had to tell a business that I was supposed to work with this month, I'm not going to be able to promote that till July. And I was like, wow, like I've never had to say that. I've been working
Yeah.
so hard. So it's seeing the fruits of my labor come to life that is like wow, because at some point of course I do want to do this full time, which is another
Yeah.
thing that for the future. So
Yeah.
it's just seeing that it's going in the right route. And then, like I said, I want to build a tiny home. So coming soon. I won't say much about it, but I
Yeah.
have
That
to.
is awesome. I think they are fascinating. We actually have a community not too far from where I live that have started tiny homes, a tiny home community. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah. I have to send you the link so that you can read up on it, but it's actually pretty cool. And we have people kind of living off the grid, so to speak, as well, which is pretty interesting also. But yeah, I love the tiny homes. So I
I'm
love
really
that.
very excited.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, for the folks out here who want to get involved in far as lifestyle content, blogging, advocating, what would be your advice to those wanting to get into this realm?
The first thing you need to start with is mass emailing. This was something I got from Gary Vee. This is not my own advice, but Gary
Yeah.
Vee, if you, how we talked about no's, like you're going to get no's more than
Yeah.
yeses when you're out, but you can change the percent and the ratio of the yeses and the no's that you're getting if you mass email all the companies that you see yourself working with in the future
Absolutely.
immediately. And then start small and then work up. Like don't hit
Yeah.
up for every. on and you only have 100 followers, they're not going to
Mhm.
look at you. That's just the
Right.
truth. Like, it's not to hurt anybody's feelings, but it's the truth. So
Right.
start with is that you really care about that are on the lower ends, and then move up.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And of course, I know people are curious as to how do you monetize this field? In other words, how do you go about generating income through this? What are the best ways to make that happen?
Okay, so they have affiliate links, and
Yeah.
that's a it may be like a smaller commission, but you can definitely scale that properly because people make good money off affiliate links if you're promoting it the way you should be promoting it. So that's
Yeah.
you can go about it. Another way to go about it is if you have a YouTube channel, then scaling that YouTube channel because that's something that like YouTube, I feel like will never go away. So you
Yeah.
can definitely make a way of revenue through the YouTube platform.
Absolutely.
Outside of Instagram is working on IGTV and then live badges where people can purchase and it basically they purchase a heart and that's how you receive compensation from the
Right.
live. And then with the IGTV ad, if you have access to that, but you must have a creator account. That's something everybody needs to know. You have to have a creator account to do that. Then once you're eligible for that, you can put like ads in your IGTV videos. So there's definitely several ways, but I think the most way when starting out is reaching out to people that aren't on these platforms. Like don't worry about Instagram, don't worry about YouTube. Having that
Yeah.
sponsored post by reaching out to the brand itself, and then also sourcing the affiliate links in all your videos and stuff like
Absolutely.
that will help.
Absolutely. Because it goes back to what you were saying about how social media, you're able to connect with so many people from all over the world, really. So, really, it's an open pool to, connect. And the possibilities are kind of endless as long as you connect with those people, that, like you said, that you truly feel that you're connected with and that you're going to connect with and be able to build upon that with also. And so, to that individual out here who they have this thought, they have this process of where they want to get out here, they want to make a change in their community, they want to, create and brand something of a different magnitude, but they may be skeptical about doing that. What is your words of encouragement to those individuals?
Well, you're not going to know anything until you try. So if you really are
Right.
committed to wanting to create a change or scale a business for yourself, you have to get it started first. And then
Yeah.
also block out the competition. Stop looking
Yeah.
to so that has the 100K followers and is getting
Mhm.
millions and billions of transactions a day for their business. Don't
Yeah.
worry. You
Yeah.
have to just focus on what you can do immediately right now to start
Right.
your business and then work up and just keep following that process because when we look at social media we start to believe that like there isn't a process but what we don't know like the whole girl boss culture that has gone around what we don't know is that like plenty of those people have a financial back that we're not.
Right.
So
Right.
starting this is not easy. It's not. So you
Yeah.
don't need to look towards those people. You need to be looking towards your bank account, worried about your coins and what you can afford for business.
Yeah.
And
So
that will
true. Absolutely. 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 And so, for the folks out here, who may want to, collaborate with you, do some branding, they may even want you to create some content, for them also. How do they go about, connecting with you?
you can connect with me on social media at They All Know JoJo. And then Ask My Dad is ask underscore my underscore dad on Instagram. And then you can reach out
Awesome.
to me on my email. It is JoJo Talks a Lot
Okay.
192261 at gmail.com. And then, of course,
Awesome.
a DM. Just send a DM.
I absolutely love it. I love it. And so I am, like I said, truly amazed at the content that you provide out here. I'm inspired. I'm inspired by looking at your page and your posts because, like I said, if I would have had this mindset at 20 years old, oh my gosh, the things I could have did. But it's okay though. I got it together now a little bit. So we shall see. But of course, at the end of the day, what is it that motivates you personally and challenges you to be an even greater version of yourself on a daily basis?
Mm. I like to. I have a board that has my daily affirmations written on it. I don't know if you guys can see
Yeah,
the back. It's that yellow piece of paper, and one of the things on it says that you're growing into the ultimate woman. So every day, it's another 24 hours that I can attempt to be the best version of myself. And at my mom
absolutely.
all the time that like the JoJo who I am right now, this is like JoJo 2.0. Then I'm going to blink to 30. It's going to be 4.5, and then so on and so forth. Like it's always going to go.
Yeah,
I'm always going to experience changes. So I don't have to be so hard on myself for the mistakes that I'm making now because I will change them. There's always room for change.
absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I absolutely love that. And of course, I want to thank you so much for coming on here and hanging out with me. I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. It was so much fun. So much.
You are welcome. Do you have any final words or thoughts or shout outs you want to give to the folks out here listening?
Shout out to my mom for putting this together. You're the best. I love you. Shout out to all my supporters, all everybody that supports me. You guys are great.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so you guys make sure you head over to Instagram. The information is down here below. They all know JoJo. Let her know what you thought about her interview tonight over here on the Beautiful Butterfly Show, and all of those great things, and touch base with her and give her some great feedback. And once again, JoJo, it has been a pleasure having you here on the show. I know you're going to do phenomenal things. I already see it happening. So I'm just going to wait. I'm going to be one of the people to say, hey, you know what? I got my interview. I didn't wait till she blew up where she was booked and busy.
Oh, woman, the fact that we got to get in this space and talk to each other, and I will continue
Yeah.
the growth of the Butterfly Show.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I'll be talking with you again soon.
See
ya. Bye. All right, you guys. That was JoJo. You guys can go and check her out on Instagram. They all know JoJo for all of her content. And go check out Ask My Dad as well. A phenomenal. I'm telling you guys, go check out the videos. They are just awesome, down to earth, and just real. And so with that said, folks, we're going to get ready to get out of here. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. We're going to see you here next week. Make sure you go and like the Beautiful Butterfly Show page on Facebook as well, so that you can stay up with who's going to be next on the show, and follow us on Instagram at the Beautiful Butterfly Show also. So with that said, folks, we're going to get ready to get out of here. I'll see you next time.